Hey, hey, welcome. It's Josie with Women Who Lead with Heart. Welcome to my Live at 5. Who's out there? Coming on a little bit early today. If those of you who are out there are a bit new to my group, I often go live Sunday afternoons for a bit of inspiration and training and just some positive mindset work so that we can lean into our work, lean into our work week, and just elevate our skill set and our whole point of view because we are about empowered women who lead with heart. We are women who are leaders in our lives, both at home and in the workplace, and just everywhere we go. You're always leading you. This group is all about empowerment, it's all about learning skills, it's all about finding your inner leadership vibe. And tonight's topic is how to make others' opinions matter less. Woohoo! It's a juicy one. It's something that comes up with a lot of my clients, and so I thought I'd come on live and do a training for all of us on this. I came up with a dozen or more ways that we can reframe the way we approach how we feel about our choices and have what other people think matter less. Who's on to that? If you're joining live, give me a hello, an emoji, wave. If you're joining on replay, give me a hashtag replay. It's always nice to know who's out there, and we'll dive in. Okay, as we talk about mattering less, we are not talking about the fact that others' opinions don't matter at all. Women who lead with heart, women who are strong and sensitive, women who identify with my message, feel like we want to be integrated leaders. We want to be um, understood. We want to be empathetic. We want to be um, people who we're not steamrolling people that we lead. It's not my way or the highway. It's not like we don't care what other people think. That's not what we're striving for. It's the opposite. It's that we care too much. If we care too much about what other people think, then there's a distortion on our own empowered ability to make choices where instead of feeling strong and confident and self assured and powerful in our own skin to make our own determinations, to make our own decisions, we worry if we're too much or we're coming across in the wrong way, or if we said something too big, or if we might have offended someone, or somehow we feel like maybe we should shape shift and fit in more. Hi, Kendra. Hi, Ann. Hi, Wanda. So if you're coming on live, come on in and say hi. Let me know if this resonates for you. I identify as what I call a strong and sensitive female leader, meaning I think you can be both. I think that you can have personal and positional authority, but not be a steamroller, not be somebody who doesn't care about the people that she leads. But to be strong, if I don't manage my sensitivity, I won't be able to lead authentically, authoritatively, with vision, with the sort of follow me leadership that I think is so powerful. If I'm always caring so much about what other people think, it's like I'd be racing around making sure that my social and personal capital was okay with everyone else in the room to know that I didn't overstep a boundary. And that's not leadership. That's people pleasing. That's um, trying to be popular. That's trying to make sure that no one is offended. But sometimes leadership means that you make a stand for something and that you're not afraid. So, how do we be both? That's what I'm about tonight. Here's a dozen ways that you can have others' opinions matter less. Are you ready? I'd like you to think about these as I say them and maybe think about which one would be your favorite or which one might you choose. Which one might you try on? You ready? Okay, number one. What if you take a rational mindset? What if you say to yourself, there's no way I can control anyone else? Now, at first, this can feel sort of like we want to. We want everybody to like our choices. But literally, if you just think logically and rationally, it's not reasonable. It's not rational. We can't control what other people think. It never was our deal. You can think about this with um, artists. They put their work out into the world, And they can't worry whether or not other people will like it or not. The people who like it will, and they'll buy it. And the people that don't, they can just go do their own thing. But we can't worry about making something of ourselves that people who don't like it will like. That's that's a boundary infringement on our own creativity. So be rational about it and realize I can't control what other people like. Okay, number 2, being more philosophical about it, to say it's likely that not everyone will like me. And that can be quite triggering too for a people pleaser who feels like that's our goal actually is we want people to like us. We want to be popular. We want to be in the in group. We want to be included. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to feel humiliated. But literally, you can think about it just big picture philosophically that not everyone's going to like the same things. Not everyone has the same favorite color. Not everyone likes the same style or music or food or um, jokes or art or so many things. And so if we just take the long view there and realize it's not rational or philosophical that other people will like everything, including ourselves. So far, so good. I like this next one. What if we adopt a little attitude? What if our attitude is, it is none of my business what anyone else thinks, and it's none of their business what I choose? What if we just stay in our lane and say, it's really none of their business what I decide to do? Could you adopt an attitude like that? I do me. That's number 4, the empowered point of view. I get to do me. I get to be me. How does that feel when you think, you know what? I actually can embrace this. I can enjoy this. I can expand into being me. Which brings me to number 5, which is kind of its partner, a liberated point of view, a creative point of view. And no one else gets to choose for me. I get to do all of that. So number 4 was I get to do me. I get to be me. And number 5 is, and it's my job. And it's no one else's job. No one else gets to choose for me. I'm liberated and creative. I get to choose for me. No one else gets to. How does that feel? All right, the 6th way we can try to make others' opinions matter less would be to take an unattached point of view. This would be sort of like saying, they can love me and disagree with me, and vice versa. I can love them and disagree with them. Sort of detaching from the fact that maybe the people in our family that matter might not vote like we do. They might not believe like we do. They might not have deep choices of how they live their lives the same way we do. Rather than judging that and wanting it to change, what if we detach from it and say, I love you and I do things differently, and that's okay for you too? How does that suit you? Number 7 is the long view. I often quote the palliative care nurse Bronnie Ware, who wrote the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. Pretty heavy duty. For about 15 years, this nurse in Australia, her job was to receive patients who were discharged from hospital to come home on hospice to die. And she said, actually, it was a beautiful experience. I wrote down some of her words. She said, people grow a lot when they're faced with their own mortality. I learned never to underestimate someone's capacity for growth, and some changes at the end of their lives were phenomenal. When questioned about any regrets they had or anything they would do differently, common themes surfaced again and again, and here's the most common 5, and the one I want to share with you tonight. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Boom. What if we take the long view and realize if we're always caring too much about what other people think and what other people's opinions are all about and making them matter, we're making ourselves smaller. We're adapting and adjusting our own fulfillment, our own desires to be smaller or lesser than or different because we think it will please someone else. So let's not pursue that path. Bronnie says it's very important to try and honor at least some of your dreams along the way. From the moment you lose your health, it is too late. Health brings a freedom very few realize until they no longer have it. So maybe taking the long view and knowing this is actually your mandate to live your life according to your terms and not what other people think. All right, let's try another one. What if you take an empathetic view to other people's opinions mattering less? If somebody's really judging you or giving you a lot of blowback for your behavior, your choices, your opinions, you could take the empathetic view to say, you know what? Their lens, their judgment, their opinion is colored and informed by their own experience and their own pain. I recently put a quote in my book in my Facebook group. Um, the very common quote where women being catty with each other. You can imagine, who does she think she is? And the answer was, well, obviously she's somebody who thinks she can live her life without checking in with you about your opinion on what she should and shouldn't do. So it's sort of like having this that's a little bit disregarding or kind of having that empowered attitude, right? But it's also like realizing other people might have a totally differently informed point of view, and we can be empathetic towards it. Maybe they were hurt. Maybe they had learned somewhere along the way that they should follow rules that you don't care to follow anymore, and you can have empathy for them and do your own thing. So, number 8 is to have an empathetic point of view with others who disagree with you or who want you to behave in a certain way. Number 9, have a responsible mindset. I create my own results all the time and I own them. That is my job. I am doing my life my way and I own my results. I am responsible for me. How's that one? I like that one. There's a woman in my group right now who was going through a lot of friend drama. She's emerging and evolving and becoming a more empowered version of herself because she's being coached and she's trying new things. And she's realizing she doesn't need this friend group that she's in that sort of like gets together to collude and to commiserate and to kind of gripe and gossip. And it's not working for her anymore. It's a low negative energy. And it's sort of like the energy of the group that everyone joins to kind of hash things out. And she realized she doesn't want it anymore. And as she started to pull away, she got blowback from her friend group saying, oh, you're changing everything. It's all your fault. And while this client of mine at first suffered to feel like, oh my God, I feel terrible. It is all my fault. We turn that around to say, what if you get to own it? What if you get to have it be your fault? If you finding a more enlightened, more empowered, more of choice, more decided um, point of view for how you spend your time, and you don't want to join kind of um, a negative gossip group, if you want to be responsible for your own energy and it shifts the dynamic of the group, then own it. What if it is all your fault? And just happily, where we're like playing with that, not to make her wrong or give her shame, but for her to accept the responsibility. You're right. I am changing the dynamic of this group through my behavior. So be more responsible for your choices. You got to own them. Number 10, when this is focus. You can't be dragged down when you are focused on your values and fulfillment. You're too busy. You're too busy for all of the crap. You're too busy for all of the complainers and naysayers. You're too busy to pay attention to what other people want if you are focused and committed to what you're pursuing in your life. So try that one on for size. Number 11, whose opinion really matters? More importantly than your own. So really, when we say how to make others' opinions matter less, remember, you're the one that lives with you all day, every day of your life. So whose opinion really is more important than yours? Kind of just like a way of reframing the experience you might be having. Number 12 is sort of a self-preservation point of view. If you are trying so hard to deal with some negativity in your life, if you are so upset about others' opinions mattering, if you're angry and resentful about somebody else's judgment on you, there is a moment where you are actually infusing yourself with a lot of negativity, a lot of pain, a lot of resentment, a lot of angst, a lot of toxic energy because you're making somebody else's opinion or choice or judgment on you matter so much. This can be when you're boiling with resentment or you're really remembering past deeds. And as one of my clients says, it's sort of like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. By going over and over and over again about something that other people have done that matters so much to you, it's time to let it go for a self preservation case. You might try it. You might try what would happen if you let it go and see that you don't die. What if you just stopped worrying so much about the past or past pain or the hurts and notice that you can live without that? Okay, number 13, what if we're more intentional? What if we just ask ourselves, how do I want to spend my time? How do I want to be feeling? I get to intend, I get to choose, I get to um, be in charge. What if you take an intentional point of view? Number 14, self sufficiency. I love this one. No matter what other people's opinions are, no matter whether you're rejected or judged, no matter if you feel humiliated or vulnerable, no matter if you are feeling like others' opinions of you have a lot of power and weight, remember one thing: you always have you. I love that. I love the mantra, I always have me. I always get to be me. I'm always okay with me. For years, I was a tour guide and I used to work in China for many, many years. And our local guide there, an amazing woman who spoke so many Chinese dialects, a local guide, as well as English, would often be speaking to me in metaphors that I could tell were translated from Mandarin. She would be thinking of a saying in Chinese, but she would say it to me in English. And I wish I wrote a book of them because they were so interesting. And one time she said to me, she was a very small woman with, feisty personality, and she had no fear. And she would go into situations whereas me, sort of a sensitive soul, conflict adverse, nervous when anybody's angry with me, she would go into a confrontation often with a male, a very dominant male, as we're like working these tour groups. And I could see her just looking up into the face of somebody and just yelling, screaming or sharply speaking in Chinese that I didn't understand. And I would just be so admiring that she would just stand her own and just, just be holding herself. And I asked her later, I said, how do you do that? And how do you hold yourself when there's so much judgment or negativity or derision or disdain that you could see on this man's face, just disregarding her? And she said this beautiful saying that I'm sure was Chinese translated into English. She said, they cannot eat me. And what she meant was, I am I am this creature. I am human. I am here. No one can like bite me and metabolize me and digest me until I am nothing. They cannot take me away from me. They cannot eat me. She was kind of like, at the very core, I always am strong enough to be here. I am self sufficient. They can be mad at me. They can hate me. They can be angry with me. They can disregard me. They can, be dismissive and rude, but they cannot eat me. I just loved that. I thought that was so cool. All right, maybe your last one. The 15th that I wrote down was, what if we just be in the moment more and not let the past haunt you? A lot of times when we're really obsessed with fitting in or wondering about other people's opinions and having them matter so much, we're replaying past events and thinking about how we may have made a fool of ourselves or done it wrong or said something that may have offended someone. And we go through this torment of over analysis and beating ourselves up in the process. But when we're in this moment, that past experience isn't here. Only if we bring it into this moment is it here. So, your 15th tip is, what if you are in this moment looking ahead, thinking what you're going to do next, what you're excited about, what you're going to lean into, what is your anticipation, what's your desire, rather than looking behind and worrying about if you made a mistake or if you have regret. Boom. There's a lot for you there, ladies. So, which of these did you like the best? What do you think you might be like if you were able to just drop it? Just let go of the torment of having others' opinions matter so much, and instead allow yourself to be you, glorious you, big time you, opinionated you, powerfully you. You might think about your icon leader, some woman that you imagine that you may or may not know personally, maybe a public figure, maybe a historical figure, maybe somebody that you admire from afar. And I want to encourage you to know that the more powerfully someone stands for something, if you admire a leader in the world, chances are she has detractors. And the more powerfully she stands for what matters to her, the more polarizing she is to her detractors. And that has to be okay. It means that she's putting herself out there, putting a stake in in the sand, saying, this is what matters, and this is what I go for, this is what I stand for, is a risky but valuable business. It allows you to be seen and not hide in the shadows and not worry so much about the detractors, about the judgment, about the criticism. It means that you're owning all of your power, you're owning um, your values, your passion, your um, your point of view, the things that matter to you. That's what we're going after. All right, ladies, that's what I have for you tonight. Let me know in the comments below which one of these resonated with you, or what's another way you can have opinions matter less that maybe I didn't mention tonight. And we'll see you next time. Go well for now.